were you in?
So I was part of what the U.S. would have called the Cold War, and I was also in a military action in Grenada.
What did you do?
In the service, I was what they called a submarine hunter. So we looked for enemy submarines and kept track of them and took care of them if it had to be.
What kind of training did you have to go through?
It was about a year-long training before I was actually out in the fleet, but there's different schools they call A schools, so just learning how to operate all the equipment within the plane, and air crew school, learning what it takes to be on an airplane, and I think that was about it. So it took about a year.
What exactly did you guys do on planes?
So they would tell us where a submarine was, and we would go out and drop sonobuoys, they were called, and they'd have a hydrophone, which is just like a microphone, that would drop out of the end into the water, and you could listen to in the water for the sub, and you could tell where it was going, what it was doing, how fast it was going, and we would track them and just make sure that we knew where they were, if anything needed to be done to them.
What do you think was your greatest accomplishment when you were doing this?
I would say probably my greatest accomplishment was just getting through the school, and because I always wanted to fly, so that was the one, when I looked at the services, it was the one service that had a job where you could be in an airplane and flying around. Not that I was a pilot, but so that was it, just getting through the school and making it, because it was one of the tougher schools in the service to get through.
So what's a memory that you can remember from your time on the planes?
I would say just kind of like the fire department. The memories are of the people that I worked with. You're on a crew, just like here. The crews were a little bit bigger. There was probably 8 or 10 guys on a crew, and just being together with those guys and having a good time and getting to know them and becoming a real cohesive unit. And one time, it was very rare that you would ever catch a submarine on the surface. That was like a big no-no for them. And we caught 3 Russian submarines on the surface, and we got pictures of them, which was kind of a really cool thing because you almost never see them. You just know they're there. So those 2 things kind of stand out.
Okay.
So one of the memories that I have, one of the scary memories that I have, is when you're flying up there, radar sounds, when it hits the plane, there's a guy that listens to it, and a certain kind of radar sounds a certain way. And we were flying by a Russian ship that was a guided missile ship. And so we were flying by it, and the guy that listens to the radar said they have their fire control radar locked onto us. And so as we flew by, and a P-3, that's what I flew in, a P-3. P-3 is a very slow, it's got 4 props on it, so it's not going fast. If they wanted to shoot us out of the air, it would be a really easy thing. And you could listen to it, he put it on the PA, and you could listen to it. It made this, a regular radar, just every time it sweeps past you, it just goes, you know. But this is like, and you could tell that they were, and their guns just followed us as we flew by them, and you could look out the window and watch it, and it was like, okay, I don't think I want to be around here. And then there was another time, another memory that I just thought of, that there's a little box in the plane that if you're near an American ship, that tells the American ship you're a friend, or it puts out a signal to let them know that you're a friend. And we got too close to a U.S. aircraft carrier, and for some reason that thing wasn't turned on. And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these fighter jets just came up and intercepted us. And they didn't know who we were until they got, you know, right up next to us. And so that was another time that after it was over, it's like, woo! Because all of a sudden this F-14 comes flying up right underneath you, and one comes right up over the top of you, and you realize that, you know, you're going nowhere fast if they want to, because you're just this big, slow plane. And so those are 2 memories that really stick out in my mind of times in the plane where it was kind of scary. about it.
What were the positives, if there were any?
The positives were travel. I got to see a lot of places. Italy. Gosh, now it's so long ago that I'm trying to remember. I think we were in Spain. We were on a little island in the Mediterranean, so I got to do a lot of traveling in that area, and I got some free school out of it. So those are the positives, the biggest things.
What were some of the negatives, if there were any?
Being away from my family, leaving Minnesota, even though it was a cool thing to do, it was at first, you're really homesick, and all your friends are back here, and you don't know anyone. So that was probably the biggest negative, just missing people.
Did you enjoy what you did?
I did. It was a lot of fun. You felt like you were doing something that was important, and it was fun. Yep.
Well, that's all the questions I have.
All right.
So, thank you.